Most people believe their financial stress would disappear if they just made more money. That belief feels logical. If income goes up, pressure should go down. But for most people, that's not what actually happens. They earn more and the stress stays, or worse, it comes back even faster. In this video, we're going to break down why income usually isn't the first problem to solve, and why increasing income too early often fails to create stability. This isn't about saying income doesn't matter, it does, but order matters more than effort. Why I need more money feels so obvious. When money feels tight, income is the most visible lever. You can see your paycheck, you can see your bills, you can feel the gap, so it makes sense that your brain focuses on the number coming in. If the number were bigger, things would feel easier. That logic isn't wrong, it's incomplete, because income doesn't exist in isolation. It flows through a system, and the system determines what happens next, the pattern most people experience. Here's the pattern many people live through. They feel stressed about money. They decide income is the solution. They work more, hustle harder, or find a way to earn extra. For a short period of time, things improve. Bills feel lighter. Pressure drops slightly. There's a sense of relief. Then life happens. An unexpected expense shows up. Spending creeps back up. The margin disappears, and suddenly, despite earning more, nothing feels different. This cycle isn't rare. It's common. Why extra income often doesn't change how life feels. When a financial system is fragile, extra income doesn't build stability. It fills gaps, it patches leaks, it relieves pressure temporarily, it absorbs stress that already exists, but it doesn't change the structure underneath. That's why raises often don't change behavior. That's why bonuses disappear. That's why people earning more still feel behind. Income magnifies the system you already have. If the system is unstable, income moves faster, not better. The hidden problem behind income stress. Most financial stress isn't caused by income alone, it's caused by fragility. Fragility looks like no buffer, no margin, no separation, no protection from surprise. When money has no room to breathe, every dollar is already spoken for. That makes income feel scarce, even when it's improving. Why fragility creates bad decisions. Without stability, decisions become reactive. You don't choose the best option. You choose the least painful one. You prioritize speed over strategy, relief over outcomes, short-term fixes over long-term health. This isn't a discipline issue. It's a pressure issue. Pressure forces short-term thinking. Why this leads to frustration. This is where people start blaming themselves. They think, I worked harder, I earned more. Why does nothing feel better? That disconnect creates discouragement, and discouragement leads to one of two things: giving up. Chasing income even harder, neither fixes the root problem. Income versus stability, critical distinction. Income determines potential. Stability determines results. Without stability, extra income creates volatility. Inconsistency feels dangerous. Mistakes feel catastrophic. With stability, income improvements stick. Progress compounds. Stress decreases over time. This is why two people earning the same amount can have completely different financial lives. The difference isn't effort, it's structure. Why chasing income too early backfires. When stability doesn't exist, income growth often comes at a cost. More hours, less rest, less margin, more burnout. You're adding load to a weak foundation, and weak foundations don't get stronger under pressure. They crack. What actually changes when stability exists? First, when stability exists, emergencies stop derailing progress, income fluctuations feel manageable, decisions slow down, confidence increases. This is when income growth becomes powerful, not before. The mistake almost everyone makes. When income doesn't solve the problem, people assume they need even more income. They skip the step that would make income effective. That step is stability, and stability always comes first. So if income isn't the first lever to pull, what is? What actually needs to exist before income improvements start working the way people expect? That's what we're going to walk through next. Before income becomes the solution, three things need to be in place. Not perfectly, just consistently. These are not advanced strategies. They are foundations. And without them, income increases rarely stick. First, a basic buffer. A buffer is not about luxury, it's about space. Without a buffer, every dollar is already assigned, every expense feels urgent, every decision feels risky. A buffer slows life down, it absorbs mistakes, it buys time, it reduces panic. This is why the first $1,000 matters so much. Not because it's impressive, but because it changes how problems feel. Why income doesn't replace a buffer. Extra income without a buffer still leaves you exposed. If the money comes in and goes right back out, nothing changes. A buffer turns income into stability instead of survival. That's why skipping this step keeps people stuck. Second, clear separation. Money needs roles: bills money, spending money, savings money. When everything lives in one account, progress becomes invisible. Income increases disappear because there's no structure to hold them. Separation makes improvement obvious, and obvious progress reinforces behavior. Why separation changes behavior automatically. When money is separated, overspending becomes visible. Bills stop competing with spending. Savings stops getting borrowed. You don't need more discipline. You need fewer conflicts. Separation removes conflict. Third, automation over willpower. If progress depends on motivation, it will fail. Motivation is inconsistent. Life is unpredictable. Automation removes forgetfulness, negotiation, emotional decision making. It creates consistency without effort. That's what allows income improvements to compound instead of reset. When income becomes the right focus. Income becomes the right focus when bills are predictable. A buffer exists, systems are automatic, stress is lower than before. At that point, income doesn't disappear, it builds. Why this order changes. Everything. People who fix stability first experience less burnout, fewer financial resets, better long-term outcomes, more confidence, not because they work harder, but because their effort finally sticks. Who this message is. For this matters most if you feel stuck despite working hard. Raises never seem to help. Money stress keeps returning. Hustle feels exhausting. The problem isn't effort, it's sequence. The core takeaway: income is powerful, but only when the system underneath it is stable. Fix the foundation first, then let income do what it's supposed to do. If you want calm, practical guidance that focuses on what actually works in the right order, subscribe to Money Simplified. Progress doesn't come from speed, it comes from sequence.